Hey, 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 top down traders here today. Today I'm going to go over the trade for, today we're going to do back testing to help you study to show yourself approved. And one thing, if you need to learn, if you decide you're going to make a commitment to learning how to trade, you're going to have to do two things. You're going to have to back test, and then you're going to have to forward test. During those times, you're going to learn certain chart patterns. You'll see the same behavior occur every day. But if you don't spend time studying, you won't be able to recognize the patterns and the behaviors of whatever market you're trading. So today I want to record this video. It's my personal time that I want to share with you, the world, all around the world, and those who come to my channel. Father, I thank you for those who have ears to hear and a heart to receive. I pray it would stick into their hearts and they can take action on it, for they can increase their income. Because your word declares you want to increase them more and more, and spiritually, financially, emotionally, in every area of their life. You want them to be walking in wisdom by your grace in Jesus' name. So that's just my little shout out and prayer to you. And if you haven't been born again and accepted Christ, this might be an opportunity for you to consider it. As you know, the world has been doing the same thing time and time again. Human behavior has a pattern. There was wars before you were born. There's going to be wars before you die. And during those times, things happen. Some people get rich. Some people get poor. Because those who don't invest will always fall behind. So, enough with that rant and rage. So now I've already marked out this lesson today. I'm going to start with the 15-minute chart. I'm going to take away some of the lipstick. This is on the 10th of April. Right now is 6:24 p.m. So I'm back testing. I'm studying even when the market's closed. And I study just to reinforce some things, and I study often. And I study the market that I trade. And this happened to be a trade in a market where I review and I trade on a regular basis. So let's get started. Now I'm on a 15-minute chart. And sometimes when I scout throughout the day, I need to see what price has done and is doing and what the candles are doing. Because the candles, each one of them is a certain language, and they act a certain way based on a lot of different things. A lot of elements, factors, variables come involved. Time of day, for example, is important. Uh, the morning open, the pre-morning open, the lunchtime, after 2 p.m., how the candles behaves during certain times of the day are very, very important. Wicks in a candle and tails in a candle are also very important when you learn and study your craft of trading. So I'm going to go from a 15-minute chart down to a 1-minute chart. And now I'm going to put on all the indicators. This is the back test. It's not a forward test live, but I'm just going to review and study, because one thing that's important is that you study candles. You study to show yourself approved. If you want to be consistent trader, I don't care where you are in the world, you can. The choice is yours. So let me put on everything I marked up before this video, because I want to talk about some things, and I have some things annotated on the chart that might become new information for you. But if you're going to become a successful, consistently profitable trader, you need to study as well. So I guess the title of this video would be I don't know, study to show yourself approved. That's a scripture, by the way. Or it could be, anything that you want to do, you need to spend time understanding how things work. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you're single, and I really don't care. I don't know if you're gay. I don't know if you're straight. That doesn't matter to me. But one thing you need to do if you want to be a successful trader, you need to study the market, even when the market's closed. When you stop trading for the day, go back and review how you performed. What mistakes did you make? What improvements did you make? What did you identify and what you missed because you wasn't thinking about it? And if you didn't think about it, maybe because you wasn't aware. So that's what back testing helps you to do and helps you to recognize things. A, before they happen. B, what you need to look for before you make a trade decision. And C, where you should place a limit order because you see how the market's developing and the market structure's developing. So that's the main reason for this video, and I thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate a cup of coffee, so if you guys don't mind donating a little things for, like a cup of coffee or a chicken dinner, I appreciate that. I don't need your money, but when you do pay, it tells me your support. It shows me how serious you are about learning in your education. Because if you went to a university, Cal Berkeley, any university around the world, and in some countries you have to pay for even high school. But I'm not going to talk about that. Let's get started. So I'm going to take off all the things that I wrote about today, and I'm really going to focus on between these two blue lines. And you might ask the question, why am I focusing on these two blue lines? Well, I'm going to answer that question for you. Be patient. Because between these two blue lines is a certain time of the morning, 9:30 to 10:30. That's also called the market open. Now you know. Now, when the market opened at 9:30, the first thing it did, it went higher in price. It took out the previous 8:30 high, then it reversed in price. Then it consolidated, it bounced around, and as soon as price made a new low, which is confirmed by a 3-bar reversal, created a fair value gap. That was the first presented bullish fair value gap. It took out that low. It didn't take out this low. So this rejection block over here, I should identify it, but we'll talk about that moving forward. That gives you the understanding of the first dealing range. The first dealing range is from this bar high down to this bar's low. That's your first dealing range. Okay, so that's the first hours of the day from the 9:30 to 10:30. That's the first dealing range where the code in the software will deliver price. After it took out the low, this bearish engulfing, that was 8 o'clock gapped up, retraced, but we're talking about from this blue line to that blue line. That's going to set your first trade setup for the day. Now you see other lines in here, and these are really important too. This is the 50% level of the dealing range, and this one's just 50% of level of the higher quadrant of the first 50%. So in other words, these are two separate things that I posted there, and they tell me the levels. So this is you have to watch my other video. This is a discount, and this becomes a premium. So between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., you get your first dealing range. That's when you should start to place your first order. So at 9:30 in the morning, until you see the first 3-bar reversal, let me identify that because I didn't put that before. Until you see your first 3-bar reversal and it breaks this rejection block, you should place your order. And you should target either the first level, which is the 50% level, or the 618 level. And then you're out of the trade for the day and you wait for the next trade setup. How long will you have to wait? I don't know what the market's going to do, so I can't really answer that question. But you want to wait until there is another dealing range. Here's the second dealing range. The second dealing range on this particular day started at 10:45, and every day's different. So what you want to do, you want to create a fib, mark out your level. This is the first dealing range, a 3-bar reversal. Here's the first bar, the second bar, 3-bar, and it went up. So this is a reversal. I guess I'll use this. This is a reversal. I'm gonna put a bar here. Should be red. It don't matter. Make it black. Who cares? It's just want to identify the area with price reversed. I thought I changed the color. What happened? Settings, style, arrow, black. Okay. So here is a 3-bar reversal. It looks different on every time frame, and you have to spend time in the charts to identify the different looks on each time frame. But this is a 3-bar reversal, and there's a fair value gap right there. Anyway, so after you identify this, you're going to create a Fibonacci. Get your Fib tool. Get the body of the candle. You take it to the high of that range, not the wicks, but the bodies. And once you see this 3-candle reversal pattern, that's when you lay your Fibonacci down. And I have my Fibonacci backwards, so I'm going to flip it. So in other words, what I just told you, I'm going to correct. So the way you lay your fibs is the opposite. So you see this swing low, and you identify, you can use this swing, the high of this level and the low of that level. That's the proper Fibonacci level. You want to place you a stop. I made a note over here. The wick is important. It cleared it should be, it cleared the previous high. What high? It cleared this high. It cleared that high. It cleared this previous high. That's a swing high. That's a swing high. But it cleared this swing high. Once you get this rejection block and you see this 3-bar reversal, create your fib and put you a limit order right below the other candles, lower half of this candle. So you would place a limit order right here. Now this is a 1-minute chart. So if you're paying attention in front of your charts, you have time to do that. But if you're not paying attention, you walked away, you might miss it. You might go into drawdown if you walk away from your charts. I've experienced that a lot. So sometimes I want to set it and forget it. But for be a good fund manager, you need to be watching what the market's doing, because the market will change directions on you. And if you're not in front of the markets to protect your capital, shame on you. But everybody learns on their own. Everybody learns differently. Some people need to see a video like this. Some people can read a book and get the concepts, and others need to see it, and they need to see it over and over and over again. That's why you always need to be in the market, and you always need to study. because this happens every single day. The market does three things every day. Every day, it goes down, it goes up, and it goes sideways, choppy, consolidates. It does it every day. And if you know something's going to happen today that you've seen happen yesterday, wouldn't it make sense for you to recognize what change of character is going to happen? It's like if you have a relationship with somebody and you say you're going to ask them a question, but you already know how they're going to respond. They haven't changed their character. Because you can say to your wife, "How was your day, honey?" And she was fine. But you know she was going to say the same thing when you ask that same question. I go to church oftentimes and listen to different messages. And if I'm not writing down the scriptures and studying those scriptures and meditate on those, I won't remember them. I lie to myself. But when I get serious about learning the Bible or learning any subject or topic, I take notes, I spend time, and I research. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking my time to go back and learn what I've learned before and reinforce it and help me identify different market characteristics and swing levels in the market. Why? Why am I doing that? I'm studying. I'm studying with back testing. So when I see it happen live in the market, I will know how to respond because the market is just like a woman. It does the same thing. It goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. Some women want to spend money when they get it and then cry about they don't have no money. It's a pattern. I'm not talking about your relationship, but I'm talking about studying and spending time in the charts. Because if you want to be a consistent, profitable trader, you need to be constantly studying and understand candle patterns. You need to understand a 2 candle pullback, a 4 candle pullback, how they look on different time frames. You need to be able to do that. And one way to do that, and it's the best way to do that, in my opinion, is to back test. Take your time identifying certain things. Here's an example. We have 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, 4 candles, 5 candles, and we're on the 1 minute chart. Is that what a candle looks like? Well, yes, it is. But guess what? Those 4 candles don't look the same on a 2 minute chart as they look on a 1 minute chart. Here's an example. I'm going to click on 2 minutes. Let me back up a second just to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. We talked about 4 candles, right? I'm going to highlight these 4 candles areas. I'm going to highlight just these 4 candles. And then I'm going to change the colors for you can see. I'll change the border to blue. I'll change the background to blue. Now pay attention, this is important. On the 1 minute chart, you see up here left over here, 1 minute chart, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. When I go to the 2 minute chart, that same 5 candle pattern is only two candles on a 2 minute chart. Pop quiz. This is your test. On a 2 minute candle, a 2 minute time frame, rephrase, on a 2 minute time frames, how many candles did we see on the 1 minute? A, was it 3? B, was it 4? C, was it 5? D, was it all the above? Something like that would be on your test, right? And you can't use ChatGPT. The best wisdom for you to learn is to study to show yourself approved. Now, next question. What are these 2 candles in the blue on a 2 minute time frame? Question is, what do they look like on a 3 minute time frame? Well, let's go and find out. Wow. Here's the answer. They look like a bullish engulfing. Or pop quiz. Is that a bullish engulfing or is that an outside bar? Hmm. Hmm. Is that a bullish engulfing or is that an outside bar? I'll let you study and discover on your own if that question got you thinking. All right, so back to back testing, studying candles. There's a lot of information that you can learn from those who've learned it before you. And if you're new to trading, you have to spend some time in the charts, tape reading. Oh my goodness, let me reset this chart because it's taking too long to reset. Okay, so where were we? All right, so if you're new to trading and you want to understand trading, you need to understand that you need to spend time in the charts. Study to show yourself approved. You need the experience, so that's where you're going to get your wisdom from. I'm trying to share you an insight of my experience, but I was really trying to focus on the early morning to open, the swing low of the day, and where you should target. I'll share more in the next video. I've been talking for 20 minutes, and I want you to go back and review this video again for the series of studying, backtesting, and learning. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Father, so I thank those who have spent at least 22 minutes with me today. I pray for them, for their health, their family. I pray for the leaders of this country and the leaders around the world. And I know, God, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and everybody is under your control. Even though they might be alpha males, alpha females, they think they know everything. But God, you are the God of all creations, and without you creating us, we would be nothing. So I just want to acknowledge the Lord in all my ways and thank you, Lord God, for guiding my path. And I thank you again, you personally. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm listening. I hear you. Yes, I thank you for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, share, study. Remember this. If you want to be a successful, consistently trader, you have to study and understand the charts, how it moves, the time of day. And you do that by back testing to reinforce what you learn and for you to identify different chart patterns. This is Kevin Garrett, the head coach and trainer of Top Down Traders. Love ya, love ya, love ya. Bye for now.